All right, let's get this party started. But first, we need to have a good party song. What's our anthem of today gonna be? Let's find out.
The preacher man says it's the end of time, and the Mississippi River, she's a going dry. The interest is up and the stock market's down, and you're only getting mugged if you go downtown. I live back in the woods, you see, a woman and the kids and the dogs and me. I got a shotgun, a rifle, and a four-wheel drive, and a country boy can survive. Country boys can survive.
Sorry, Bo Cephas, I'm gonna have to turn you off for a little bit, but I will continue that. Arrow shafts. I need to make the set to complete. My JR's Never Gonna Sell set go along with fine quiver here. Got some nice arrows in there, but it needs to be a full set. And so I did something that I have never done yesterday. Just as it's important that you're able to make a bow like, I don't know if you can see it, the one I was shooting, that ash, just basic D bow with a knife. That's it. Or if you want to go even hardcore beyond that with stones, sharp shards of stones. Also important, you're able to make arrows out of natural materials. That's just a given. Something that I need to get good at, learning how to make arrow heads out of stone. I have been slacking. I have been remiss in my learning of primitive archery equipment. I'm not a good stone point maker, but I am reasonably good in making these. And so for my set, I'm going to be styling them after this trade point. This is a very nice trade point. Some of them actually didn't have points, they were round, so they would not stick into a rib or what have you, would kind of work around. But I'm going to have them pointy, just like this. And there's actually little grooves in the end there to help sinew bond to it, bond the arrowhead to the shaft. But what I did yesterday is I was at the hardware store buying some paint, because it is that time of year, going in the spring, when it starts spring cleaning and home maintenance and repainting of rooms and stuff before we go fall tilt. I happen to buy dowels, and I've never made arrows out of dowels I bought at the hardware store, but I was looking at it as you're gathering. You know, if you're a gatherer, if you're into making bows or what have you, whenever you're walking, you're keying into straight, you know. Oh, that would make a bow. That would make a dart for throwing with my atlatl or what have you. You get into being spatially aware of your surroundings. Well, I was that way at the hardware store, and I thought, it's going to be a riddle. You notice a couple things. They're all the same diameter, but I've got some color variation. Look at that beautiful dark one. Now let's count them. This is where the riddle begins. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are, how long are these things? 3 feet long. So if I was to cut them in half, I couldn't get 2 arrows out of this. They would be really short. So how many arrows can I get out of this? 1, 2, 3, 7 3-foot dowels? You're probably going to say 7, but I'm going to say that I can probably get, I'm going to have to do the calculations, but I could probably get 10 out of these things. And how I can work that, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, is I can take advantage of the 2 colors. I can cut these things in half, and making footed shafts, you probably don't know what that, you may or may not know what a footed shaft is. Using these as the foreshafts, the end where the arrowhead is, I can bond them to the lighter shafts and have a beautiful combination light shaft, dark shaft for each one. So I haven't done the math yet, but I'm pretty confident that they're not going to be 31 inches long, but I can probably get 10 arrows out of these things. Probably pretty easy by just doing footed shafts. Now, what are footed shafts? Let's pretend that this isn't a 6-foot long arrow. I would take one color or a less dense wood and bond it to a more dense wood with a fish mouth joint, where you're looking at it and it's open like this towards the front, and then a chisel on the foreshaft, and then you just, using various tricks and wizardry, bond it like that. Now typically you would take a lighter density wood and bond it to a heavier one. The heavier one would be at the front. It would be stronger, but it would also help the arrow fly a little better without having to pay attention. That is spined at 47 pounds exactly. You can get a little leeway there. And also, I'm probably most likely, which I do a lot, take your arrow shaft, taper it towards the back, front heavy, so you go about 1/3, so you're at 2/3, taper it back, and then taper the nose. Javelin style. But that's it. Now, I'm not going to go through and show you the process of making a footed shaft because I've already done it. If you go onto the YouTube search thing, go to JR's Place footed shaft, and you will find 2 videos that I have made previously, last year or the year before, on making footed shafts. They were in the context, I believe, of repairing a broken arrow, where you had this arrow, it's nicely fletched, but somehow you broke the front end. You don't throw it out. You don't take the feathers off of that and put those feathers on a new shaft. All you need to do is just footerize that shaft and bring it back up the length. And plus, if you use contrasting colors of wood, they're really pretty. And so that is that. That is what I am going to do. I'm going to...
I can plow a field all day long. I can catch